So Smash Ultimate Balance Patch 6.1 is incoming, which is kinda weird since it's only been like a week since 6.0 came out. But if I'm gonna be real, I'm not complaining, because I wanted a lot more from a balance patch than what we got in 6.0. Now because it is such a short time frame between 6.0 and 6.1, a lot of people are wondering if it actually is gonna be a hefty balance patch like what we got with 3.1, which was strictly a balance patch and nothing more. Now replays from 6.0 are gonna be incompatible with 6.1, so that's saying that there is gonna be balance changes. However, the question is if it's going to be a lot or just a little bit. Maybe they just spotted a few bugs. Typically though, I would say that bug fixes usually go on like the 3rd decibel over. So instead of it being 6.1, it would have been like 6.0.1. So I do think there is going to be like a fair amount of balance changes in this patch. In which case, that means it's my favorite time, because now I get to talk about the things that I want changed when it comes to 6.1. In this video, I'm just going to go over 2 main categories, and those are going to be straight up buffs and straight up nerfs. So let's start with the buffs that I want. I originally included Kirby in my most wanted buffs list, but since Kirby got touched up at 6.0, it's not quite as necessary anymore. I do think Kirby could still use a little more, but I think Kirby is also in a good place now, with up air actually killing and nair killing a fair amount earlier. These, coupled with the buffs to Kirby's frame data, means that I can now combo into a swallow, which is quite nice. But I'll quickly say a few more things that Kirby could probably use over the course of Ultimate's lifespan. While I appreciate Kirby's new startup for Swallow, I do think it could use with a little less end lag on it, as well as a possible size increase. On top of these things, I would love for Swallow to actually heal Kirby based on the size of the projectile and the power of the projectile that he swallows, so Samus's charge shot should not only recover 1% of health. Next, I'd say that Kirby's down special needs higher priority both when it comes to clinking with other moves and when it comes to protecting Kirby, because as it is, things like Ganon's F smash will just go straight through whatever rock Kirby's transformed into and kill him anyway, which I think is a bit dumb and unnecessary. Lastly, I'd say Kirby needs a weight buff, and I'm also not just putting this on Kirby, I'm putting this on every featherweight in the game. Featherweight is way too light of a weight class for this game, and it just doesn't feel right when you have characters that can die this early and then super heavies who just don't die at all. Next on my list of characters to be buffed would absolutely be Bayonetta. We all know by now that I'm a Bayonetta main, but with that aside, it's very obvious in Ultimate that she just needs help. I refuse to believe that a badass witch who kills angels is a low tier in a game that has a damsel in distress being a top tier. Peach. When playing Bayonetta, it's very obvious that the biggest place that she needs a buff in is frame data. Right now, she's a featherweight with the frame data of a heavy character, and in some cases even worse frame data than some of the heavy characters. On top of better frame data, she also needs more kill power. I'm gonna go ahead and get into specifics here. First, let's talk about her smash attacks. They look big and bad, but they have the priority of paper. On top of this, they have a super slow startup and even worse end lag. If that already weren't bad enough, they also only have a 1.2 knockback growth multiplier, whereas the rest of the entire cast has a 1.4 multiplier to their knockback growth for smash attacks. Long story short, this just means that when you finally do hit with one of these unsafe smash attacks, it's not even gonna kill. One of 2 things needs to happen here. Either they up the priority of these smash attacks to be really high, or they give it the regular knockback growth of 1.4. These are giant demon limbs after all. Next on the topic of kill power will be her forward throw. Right now it only kills at 180, but I think it should be buffed to kill at 150, and this can be done in one of 2 ways. Either give it a better knockback, or change the angle that it launches. Maybe it should just launch straight forward instead of up and forward. And lastly, on the topic of kill power, Bayonetta's up air needs to have a better knockback growth. If Palutena's nair can combo at low percents and then kill at higher percents, Bayonetta's up air should do the same. As it currently is, the opponent needs to be upwards of 200% for up air to kill up in the blast zone. Now that's just ridiculous. If I'm able to give chase to my opponent all the way up into the blast zone, I should be able to kill them with an up air at least at 150%. Now let's talk about her frame data. Long story short, she just needs to have less landing lag when it comes to using any of her specials or her aerial attacks. Bullet Arts adds a hefty amount of lag to your landing for no reason. Using Bullet Arts in the air really doesn't do much, so I don't see why it gives her more lag when landing. On top of this, yes, her specials are used for comboing, but there are characters out there in this cast that can do better combos for way more percent and better kill options, and don't get any landing lag after doing so. The best examples of this would be Pichu, Peach, and Pikachu. Bayo also needs buffs to her frame data for witch time, namely the startup frames and the end lag frames, because I think the duration that witch time lasts in Ultimate is way more fair than it ever was in Smash 4. If Joker can have a 3-frame startup for one of the best counters in the game, then Bayonetta can have a 3 to 5 frame startup for one of the worst and hardest to use counters in the game. Only fair. Lastly, I'd say Bayonetta also needs a weight buff because she's a featherweight, and again, that's a weight class that I don't think should exist in Ultimate. There is more that I want for this character, but I'm gonna stop there because these buffs alone would make her a solid mid-tier, which is exactly where I would want her. The last character I want to go over for buffs would be Sheik. Now, I know Sheik can do a lot of wonderful things in Ultimate, but it's a lot of work for very little payoff, just like Bayonetta. The one area that Sheik needs buffs in is kill power, because Sheik's kill moves are actually pretty hard to hit with, so when they do hit, you gotta be able to kill. And yeah, that's it for my buffs wish list. Now let's go on to the nerfs. And we'll start with my most hated top tier, and that is Snake. So this is kind of a weird one because I actually like Snake a lot as a character, but I just can't stand him in Smash Brothers because he just has everything and the rest of the cast doesn't, so that's just kind of annoying to deal with. The only tech you need to master to be good with this character is B-Reverse. And then once you have that, everything else is just really high payoff anyways. I view Snake to be the only truly unhealthy top tier in Ultimate because of his playstyle. This man can set up the stage however he wants it, he has every move as a kill move, he can ledge guard you without getting off the ledge himself with Nikita, and his frame 1 grenades provide the ultimate defense. Couple all this with him being one of the heavier characters in the game, and you've got a character that has it all. So let's start with the biggest nerf that I think he needs, and that would be for the frame data for the grenades. They should not be frame 1. There should be an animation of him pulling it out and getting it ready, and that should take at least 3 to 5 frames. You can even up the frame data on his throw animation for when he throws the grenades. That's fine. You can throw them faster, but you should not be able to grab them out of your pocket and get them ready in 1 frame. Next, his nerfs need to go one of 2 ways. Either all of his explosive weaponry damages him, this includes up smash and Nikita, or make him a lighter character and lower his kill power with all of his moves. Either one of these coupled with the nerfs to the grenade's frame data would bring him down to be with the rest of the cast. Next character that needs a nerf is Palutena, and we all know that the only nerf she really needs is to Nair. Either don't let it combo into itself, lower the damage output, or don't let it kill at higher percents, or all of the above. I'm fine with any of those. Last character I want to talk about is Inkling, because this is one I've been having an issue with from the beginning of Smash Ultimate. Inkling is another character that kinda just has it all, but we all know that that fucking roller grounds people for way too long. Being grounded is one of the most obnoxious mechanics in Smash Brothers, and Inkling's roller just takes it to another level. You can mash all you want all day long, but you're not gonna get out in under 2 seconds. On top of this, the ink makes you easier to kill, and when the roller trades blows, it still grounds you, which is ridiculous. The solution? Just lessen the time that Inkling's roller grounds you and lower the priority. When the move trades, it shouldn't ground you. And that's the end of my list of nerfs. Of course, there's way more that can be done and said about this game, but I do want to take the time to say that most of the characters do fall into mid-tier, which is great because that's where all the characters should be as close as possible to. Every character should have clear and exploitable weaknesses and strengths. But I want to hear your balance wishes. What are you hoping for out of 6.1 or any future Smash patch in general? Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, guys.